Hey guys, and welcome to December Daily. This video is going to be for days 12 and 13. They're both actually relatively simple. Day 12 is just that 6x8 photo that you see in front of you. I added some journaling at the bottom before printing the photo. And then I'm simply just adding my number 12 and a tiny little blue chipboard that I found on that add-on chipboard sheet you see to the right. It says Lovely Story, which I thought was perfect for telling a story about sitting by the tree and reading. So I'm just using some Gina K double-sided tape to attach my number. And then since I'm attaching another chipboard on top of that chipboard and layering it, I decided to use a little red line tape to reinforce it. So then I just simply slip it into the pocket until I figure out exactly what I'm going to be doing for day 13, which I actually did out of order. I did 13 first, then I went back and did day 12. So then the second half of this page kind of got done after the fact. So just adding it to a piece of white paper that's slightly larger than my photo, so I have a white border, and getting ready to slip it into that page protector for now. So super simple, and I'm going to leave you with a close-up before jumping into the process for day 13. So what I have here is a story. My mom came to visit, and I really wanted to get a lot more photos with her and did not. But we went to get manicures, and I helped her wrap presents for the family because we did an early Christmas. So I have a picture that I took of her like over a box, which I thought was kind of clever. And I did my journaling inside that box area. And then I have pictures of our hands. And on one of my mom's hands in the bottom left-hand corner, I have an Ally digital stamp from this year's kit. Then I have that Joy card is from one of the reprints that was done through HSN of last year or the year before's main kit. I'm adding a strip of chipboard across the bottom because it has a space for a date, but since I'm using that as my date card, I'm not going to stamp it December 13th when it says 13 right there. So I found just a simple sentiment strip that was in the right colors that made sense. I'm not sure exactly anymore what it says, but I just ripped off the layers, attached it down with some double-sided tape, and then just cut off the edges. And it was a nice simple way to kind of block that off. You could use pattern paper or washi tape or all kinds of things. I just thought that was a fun way to add some dimension. And then I ripped off the layers of the back of the 13 and did the same thing. Reattached it with double-sided sticky tape. So like I said, super, super simple story and layout. Nothing really especially crafty because of the way I took the photos. There's not really much room for embellishments. I'm just using a photo square there to attach to 13, peeling all those pieces off, and then just attaching it right in the center of the card. I thought about adding something else above or below that 13, but nothing just seemed to fit right within the spacing. So I just let it be extremely simple. So once I finally decided what to do with the other side of that page was just to create a filler card, basically a 6x8 filler page. So I'm using Ally's digital download that she gave us from a few days ago on her blog that says magic is something we make. And I printed it in white vinyl. It ends up being about a 4x4 inch design. I printed it on I cut it on like a 5x5 inch square. And then I weeded everything out, and then I'm peeling off the layers. And I show this in a lot more detail in my day 11 video, where I also happened to do a vinyl transfer on acetate. So I'm just applying the transfer tape there, running over it with that little tool there to help everything stick. Then getting ready to peel it up. And then even here I was still deciding which paper I was going to use next to the 4-pocket page protector. I had a couple selected, but I wanted to see what they looked like with the white writing over it. I had totally decided that I was going to do the one you can see in the right hand corner there with the text on it, which was a Paisley press paper from one of the previous kits. But I just was worried that the scripty writing on top of the text would look too busy. Even though I thought it would look cool, I ended up ultimately deciding not to go with it. And it looked a little too busy with my block of journaling as well, like too similar. So I ended up going with the snowflakes, which was also a Paisley Press piece from a few years ago. But you can see I'm kind of still wavering back and forth a little bit there because I just really wanted to do the text but ended up not using it. And I decided, even though this was not a story about snow, it was cold, my mom was visiting from Florida, so the snow paper would kind of still work. So here I am just using the tool to push it down. I start to peel it off and realize some of the stuff at the top wasn't completely stuck down, so I just push it a little bit harder. And then get ready to peel back that transfer tape. It did peel off a teeny bit of my paper underneath the make. Very, very subtle. You probably couldn't even notice it, but I ended up deciding to put some white sparkly chipboard stars from one of the previous add-on kits. So I was playing around with placement here and sizing, but the little one under the A and the K is covering up where there's the tiniest little bit of, not even a rip, but just it removed some of the color. So I was trying to make a visual triangle by including a third star over by the picture of my mom's hands because it was just begging for an embellishment to be put in that space. I just didn't know what. So adding these stars really worked well. And I like the way that this page came out. It's really simple. It was just reminding me of, that exact sentiment of magic is something we make. And I had been having a rough December. My mom coming to visit was the perfect thing that I needed. So again, like all the other chipboard in this album, I ripped off all the extra layers and then attached my double-sided sticky tape and just played with my placement to try to make it look as balanced as I could. And I had the bottom one go off the edge of the grayish paper, and I almost trimmed it off, and then I realized it could break the barrier and still fit on the page because of the white border that's going to be around it, so I ended up not cutting it off. And I thought that it looked just fine. And I had originally wanted to use these red chipboard stars, but it was a little too vibrant, so I was just putting them away, leaving you with a close-up, and just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you find some inspiration, and I will see you again for day 14. Thanks so much. Bye.